What's going on, guys? Thought I would do a little fleet garage update today. Talk about some of the cars in the garage. Most of them have been on the channel, but there's a couple that I've never talked about. And I'd like to make some introduction videos on those in the future, but thought we'd at least do a quick walkthrough of the vehicles. Been in the new garage for about 3 months now, and I'm finally kind of getting everything put away where it's halfway presentable. I guess first we can start with the 2018 ZL1 1LE Camaro. Now, there's been some videos of this thing at the track this past track season, and it is a bone stock 6th gen ZL1 Camaro with the 1LE track package with all the cool aero bits, the big spoiler on the back. And there's no current plans for any big power mods or any, engine build or anything like that. But what does need to happen with this car is it needs to get all of the fluids changed, get everything looked over before this next track season is gonna come. So obviously we've got autocross, we've got track days, but in a few months, there is a half-mile event in Independence, Kansas, about 2 hours away that I am really interested in registering and running. I have never even drag raced the car in the quarter mile, but I thought this would be kind of fun. Obviously, those big half-mile events, those are cars making big, huge power. So we're not gonna be winning any races. We'll probably lose every race, but it would still be kind of cool to go out and be able to run a half-mile event with the car. They're supposed to do around the 150 mile an hour range in that half mile. So it'd be kind of cool to go out there and run it and see how fast we can go. So like I said, we've got fluids, we've got a lot of stuff we need to do to this car before the race season starts. So we'll need to have a future video of that in the shop, getting fluids changed, getting it all ready. We definitely need to check the alignment. The last track day, the steering wheel's a little bit off. We were jumping off the curbs pretty hard out at Hallett Racetrack in Oklahoma, and we must have bumped something out a little bit. So need to get that on the alignment rack, change fluids, and go from there. Next up, we've got the newest arrival, which is the 1990 Mazda Miata MX5 with only 30,000 miles. Still kind of torn on what to do with this thing. It is so outrageously clean and nice. We do have a bunch of parts that finally came in from Mazda. We've got some engine maintenance stuff. We've got a cool new radio bezel. So we'll definitely have a video of the few parts that we do have getting thrown onto the Miata. But like I said, I really don't know. Do we throw some coilovers on it and some nice sticky tires and go out and play with a little bit, autocross track? At least if we did coilovers, we wouldn't be hurting any of the original suspension and we could put it back to stock because it is such a nice clean example. But at least for now, we need to get those few new Mazda parts put on it. We need to get the fluids changed and go from there. So third on the back row, now we have the 1985 Mazda RX7 GSL SE. Now we've done quite a few videos on this, and the last thing we did was picking it up from the detailer, getting that paint correction done, and gosh, it still looks amazing. So we had 100% Jake take this thing out and do a pretty cool video review drive on it, so that was kind of neat to watch. But as it stands right now, this car is pending to be listed on bringatrailer.com in about a week or two. So that'll be kind of interesting to see it finally go live on Bring a Trailer and see what it brings. I've never listed anything on an auction website, but it'll be kind of interesting to see how that goes. Now, it is all sorted. Everything that is going to be done to it is already done. So it's at this point ready to go to its new home as long as somebody clicks the auction button and bids on it. Next, we have the 1999 Jeep Grand Cherokee. Now, also have done quite a few videos on this. I have got a bunch of comments recently on the suspension setup. A bunch of people wanting to know, you know, kind of the exact parts and pieces that we've got on this thing with the Bilstein shocks and the spacers and the springs and all of that. So I probably need to do a detailed video on what all has been done to it. I'd like to get some fresh headlights in there or do a little headlight restoration on those because those are kind of holding back the look of it for now. And I am really, really tempted to do some steel 2x6 rockers where you cut out this whole factory rocker panel and you weld in that 2x6 square tubing, because every time we take this thing out, we're bashing into the rockers. I'm trying to beat them down, bend them back down after. So that would kind of be the next step in this thing, is putting those heavy duty rock rails on. And I'm also been kind of looking at doing a mild suspension refresh, a little bit longer shocks, get a little more down travel on the suspension. It currently rides and drives so perfect for a lifted vehicle, but if we could make it work a little bit better off-road, that would be awesome. So that's kind of what we've got in the thought process for the Grand Cherokee. Now on to the tow vehicle that I have never made a video about, but it carries all these projects around. It dragged the Jeep home when I bought it when it was broken. It drags the Camaro all over the place. It's drug all of these vehicles everywhere, and it is my 2017 Ram 1500, and this is just the Express. This is the low trim level truck, the kind of one step up from your work truck trim level. But I've done a lot of cool stuff to this thing, at least appearance wise. You know, we've got the black headlights, black badges, we've got Ram sport wheels. This thing does have kind of a cool suspension build on it. It's got some Bilstein 5100s in the front. We've got Fox Racing shocks in the rear. It's got airbags in the rear. It's really set up to tow really well with that 8-speed ZF transmission. So I'd like to do a video just kind of introducing it, talking about everything that I've done to it, and, you know, kind of explaining how I've chosen or picked the mods that I've done to it to kind of help with towing, driving, all of that kind of stuff. Another quick little project that I did not build on the channel, but this is my 2012 Mongoose Deception. Now, these are a Walmart box store bike back from 2012-ish. And I did a quick mid-travel build. We've got a RST Air 120 mil travel front fork. We've got big, huge, massive 200 millimeter rotors with Avid Elixir hydraulic brakes. Did a kind of a homebrew 1x7 drivetrain. Bunch of race face parts and pieces, stem, bars, seat post, Bontrager seat. So for what it is, it does really well out on the trail. There's a couple of really good single track trails here around the Wichita area that a couple of buddies and I go out and bomb around. Now the plan eventually is to go out to Bentonville, Arkansas and ride the big boy stuff. I of course always would like a nice new Yeti, you know, SB 150, big long travel, beastie, full suspension bike, but I would kind of like to be able to take that old Mongoose Deception out, run on the big trails, and at least say that I have ran real downhill stuff on a Walmart bike. So, but that's besides the point. We're talking about cars. So, another thing that gets to sit kind of on the sidelines these past couple of years is my 2013 Ninja. This is the 636, the ZX6R, and I absolutely love this bike. This was a dream bike of mine. I had a Kawasaki Ninja 300 for my first bike. Drove that thing 20,000 miles, bought it new, but always in the back of my mind knew I wanted that 600. Searched and searched for a 2013 or 14. Those were the 2 years for the white, cool, matte paint color. Finally found one stock. It was from Hawaii. It's a really kind of cool story. So maybe one of these days I'll do a story talking about that bike story coming from Hawaii, yada, yada. It was out of a barn. It's kind of a cool story, but that thing's been sitting on the sidelines playing at the track with the Camaro. I've track dayed the bike quite a bit, a couple seasons back. So need to get back out on the track with that. and make sure I still got it on 2 wheels. Now, another car that also hasn't been talked about is the wife's new 2021 Prius 20th anniversary edition. And Prius is probably the most complete opposite of Jeeps and trucks and all of that, but it's honestly kind of a cool Prius for a Prius. You've got the black badges, black wheels, you've got the bigger rear spoiler, and like I said, for a Prius, it's kind of a cool car. So maybe if you guys want to see that, we will throw a little video on that. I'd like to throw some wheel spacers on it to flush the wheels up with the fenders, but we've got so many other projects going on the other side of the garage that I haven't really messed with that at all. So hopefully that's a little bit of an update. Now, we do have the RX7 for sale, obviously, and the Ram is actually for sale also. I haven't been trying to sell it very hard. It's just thrown on Facebook for now, but there's kind of plans in the works for hopefully middle into this year. If the truck gets sold, the RX7 gets sold, and maybe near the end of the year, if the Miata is no longer with us, I'm hoping to order a new Ram. And hopefully I'm not counting my chickens before they hatch, but if I'm able to do what I'm wanting to do, it'll be a Ram that has more horsepower than the Camaro here. So I don't want to jump the gun. I love my current truck. If it all doesn't work out, I'll keep this truck, but hopefully maybe we'll have a truck that makes more horsepower than the Camaro and we can go jump it off of like sand dunes and stuff. So I don't know, we'll see. We'll be late to the party, at least on YouTube, on having one, but still it'll be an awesome truck and fun to play with. So if you guys want any specific videos on anything, any of the vehicles, of course you probably want the Prius content, but let me know down in the comments, what do you want to see? We need to do some maintenance on the motorcycle. We need to change oil, go through it since it has been sitting for a little while, but hit me up, let me know in the comments, what do you want to see? And hopefully this year in the new garage, we'll be able to do some cool stuff with these vehicles. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys next time.